This is episode 20 of The Great Satan. I'm here with a shorty with a shorty. Was my wife's idea for an episode was to do like a super short, but I don't know if it's going to turn out short. It might just be high energy, fun stuff. I don't know. Well, shit, not with like touchy keyboards like that going on in the background. We got to make that stop. I'm joined with Fomby. This is the first time somebody's done 2 episodes. You're the first 2-episode person.
Yes.
Claiming records after records after records.
Breaking the floor.
Yeah, you should be very, very proud of yourself.
And to let a straight white man do it, so brave.
I thought so, yeah. I think you're actually the most height challenged guest that we've had, though.
That's fair.
So
I mean, we still do have separate drinking fountains.
Literally, you have the one that's next to the. Yeah. It's shorter, so. I mean, there's no signage, and you wouldn't get in trouble if you could get on your tiptoes to use the other.
On behalf of the abbreviateds, we really thank you for your forward thinking and having me on twice. Does that just make it one regular guest appearance because I'm half a person?
Right. Well, the other good news is you're so short that I can pay you under the table.
Ouch.
Yeah. That's the dumbest. That's like the dumbest short joke of all time. The pay under the table one. Low hanging fruit. That's another good one.
Oh, I think Bob Saget had one where he said he had a short girlfriend and he was nuts over her.
I love that. I love that one. That's really dumb. Fuck. Jesus. The short jokes are I don't know, I don't do the short jokes, but what do you been up to? You're working through this whole thing. You didn't stop working.
Not at all. Apparently Starbucks is essential.
Yeah. Or at least like they can close the dining room and then they have a drive-through.
Yeah, that was nice in theory. We were still like, people didn't understand, so they would knock on the door and we would answer to be like, hey, if you go through drive-through, or at this point now you can pick up mobile order, but you can't come in the building. There's just like a counter when you open it up. But yeah, recently we had a lady just ask for her mobile order, and then we're like, okay, cool. And then she had this little girl with her, and she goes, well, my daughter needs to use the bathroom. I'm like, well, we're not open. We can't do that. She's like, but she's a kid. She doesn't have COVID. Like, that's a qualifying thing. No children get it.
Yeah, no, the kids can get it. That's why schools aren't in session. Like, they can have
that, like, the kids are more likely to be asymptomatic.
Right, which means that kid could absolutely have COVID.
So,
yeah.
Instead of just, heeding the word, she said, that's fucking stupid, and, shoulder blocks through the door and my boss and just, shoves her kid in like a projectile. And she shot off like a missile to the bathroom.
Right. The kid did?
The kid did.
So she, not snuck a kid. She, brute force threw a child into your restaurant.
Yeah, like the waistband on the back of the pants.
Yeah!
Yeah,
we used to call that child bowling.
Well, she threw a curve, just around the corner into the restroom, and then she stood there cussing at my boss. Yeah. And then ripped, when the door shut, she ripped the sign that said drive-through only.
That sucks. That fucking sucks. She rips the sign?
Yes, she went into a rant, said the masks were dumb.
Of course.
It was pretty much almost like a denier kind of feel to it.
Yeah, I'm sure she didn't think it's real. Otherwise, she would take it seriously. So that's crazy. I
had another guy come through drive-through and asked if we had to wear the mask. I said yes, and then he pretty much just told me he believed it was a trumped-up version of the flu designed to make the president look bad.
Yeah, no, I've heard people say variations on that a couple of times. That it was designed to make the president look bad. But like the president did a bunch of stuff that made him look bad. He could have looked awesome if he wanted to, you know? Like he could have made this like his reelection like clincher, you know? He could have just been like, all right, everybody, man, woman, and child, you get $2,000 a month. Stay the fuck home. We'll fix this thing in 11 days, you know?
Yeah, and if that would have happened, I would have leaned more toward a conspiracy.
Yeah, I would have believed he did it on purpose. If he had like done anything about it.
Yeah, I'd have been the asshole. Like, it was built in a lab.
Yeah, I would have been like, jet fuel can't melt COVID. Like, that's the weird thing was it kind of was like that in late February. I had some like I talked to like kind of those like blue wave right wing kind of Democrats, like K-Hive Biden type people, you know, and they thought that Trump was going to handle it good and thought that it was like a conspiracy theory to get Trump reelected.
Yeah, that went away pretty quick.
Yeah. Those people instantly were like terrified of it. But then they're also like, they're doing basically nothing anyway, because they don't like, no one has information, you know, people aren't getting information from anybody about anything. So
yeah, so like just everyone got tired of acknowledging it, and so now we can go out again. Like, no,
yeah, I'm done.
Zero improvements.
Right. It's like how school shootings were back when they were rare. You know, people would be like, "Oh man, don't be doing the school shootings," you know, for like a week or two after a school shooting. And now, you know, like for a good decade there, it seemed like there was a school shooting every couple days, you know.
They threatened us with like having to have clear book bags. And then I think 2 weeks later, that like a lot of the parents are like, "Well, I'm not buying new school supplies." They're like, "All right, so just bring your regular book bags."
Cares, yeah. Yeah, a lot of schools went to like clear book bags, or you were allowed to just not use a book bag. They're like, you just had to carry your books.
Well, they instituted something like that at Tallahassee, but you had to like, you wore a book bag on the bus and into the building, then you put it in the locker and brought your books from class to class. And at the end of the day, you put it back on. So you still have ample shooting time you could really get into.
Plenty. Well, because that's when you really want to do it anyway, when people are loading in and out of their lockers.
Yeah, that's when the hallways are full. You got a narrow shooting path.
Whoop. You know,
yeah.
One little path right there, straight down the middle. You can get a good distance going.
Yeah. I think like any of these like measures, a lot of them just look good on paper until you think about them. Like, well, at least we're trying, is what.
Right. Well, the other thing
we tried good
is like you could, if you're gonna sneak a gun in a backpack, you can sneak a gun in a clear backpack.
Yeah.
Like put it on the bottom, put it between two books.
Hollow out a book.
Put it in your pants pocket.
Yeah, we still didn't have any metal detectors or anything.
Right. Even if you had a metal detector, throw it over the metal detector like a kid. Like put it in a kid. I mean, in a kid's pocket.
And put it in a kid.
Yeah, put it
like a mule.
Make a kid eat it. Yeah. Put it in condoms and then make a child eat it and then throw the kid in.
I mean, it's a little abstract of an idea, but I'm sure crazier things have been attempted.
Yeah. Yeah, you could still do a school shooting, but the school shootings, you know, they're not that like it. I don't know. School shootings seemed like a real emotional reason to not be like about guns or whatever. Like cops have killed way more people. Like cops killed more people in 2019 than school shootings did in a decade. Like there weren't that many school shootings. I mean, they seemed like they were happening all the time and they were really scary, but like cops are way scarier.
Yeah, like if they would have, if every cop shooting was sensationalized the same way,
right,
we wouldn't have other news.
Right, it's all people would talk about. It's like
whether dead minority in a hoodie,
yeah, exactly. You would never get to the weather. It would just be dead people, dead minorities in hoodies, is the news. It's like toddlers kill on average 23 people a day with guns, right? Like little kids, like under the age of 5, children kill 23 a day. That's how many people are killed by toddlers. And imagine if they had better aim, you know? So cops, I don't know the cop number. I want to say the cop number is like 125 or something. Like it's way higher. I don't have those numbers in front of me. It's one of those numbers that's hard to pin down too, because it varies a lot year by year.
Yeah, that's true. And also just like the ratio to justified and not justified.
Yeah.
I'm saying like almost any video someone sends you, like it puts on Facebook, like someone being tased or something like that. Half the time, like a lawyer would just tear it apart.
Right. And be like, well, he was supposed to do that, or like, well, he wasn't supposed to do that. Right. That's what with the shootings one though, like with cops and shooting people, it's like really the question should just be, was the person lethally armed? Like, were they armed with a lethal weapon?
Yeah.
And then if not, then it wasn't justified. You know, it's like, were they suspected of a like properly violent crime? Were they suspected of being still armed and dangerous at the time of the shooting? If the answer is no, then that person, even if they were a murderer, they're being denied probable cause. I mean, they're being denied their rights to a trial, fair trial, jury of their peers. You know.
Well, yeah. One of the big things for me is the people that can get this job.
Yeah.
Like these are $10 hour employees.
Yeah.
Who are not sufficiently trained. Like the number is remarkable of how many times someone gets shot in like their own apartment.
Yeah. There was one really recently where it was like just an absolute like MVP rock star human being. The most innocent person that's ever walked the earth. She's like a single mother, valedictorian of her class, military service, like ticks all the boxes for like society should like lionize this human being. And then the cops are like, no knock raid, get the wrong house, and just shoot her in the head. Just bonkers. There was a couple in Florida, and the cops busted in. Plainclothes cops busted in, no knock raid, shot their dogs, right? Because the dogs are barking because their house is being broken into.
The point of the dogs.
What's that?
The point of the dogs.
Yeah, exactly. It's, why you have dogs. So then, this is an elderly couple. It's late at night. They're not uniformed police officers. Homeboy blasts off like 7 cops before they take him out. Pretty fucking tight. And it turned out that they had the wrong house.
Ugh.
Yeah.
God, that's fucked up.
Yeah. In the middle of it, the wife like had called the cops. And the dispatcher had like sent a call out saying that there was a break-in happening at that place. And the cops still didn't figure out that they were talking about them because they were plainclothes cops with no.
She pretty much just called in reinforcements on herself.
Yeah. In effect, because she goes, "Hey, there's a shootout. The shootout's happening. There's people breaking into our house." And then more cops came, and then the plainclothes cops told the cops what was going on from their point of view, which was, we're doing a no-knock raid on this drug dealer's house, and he's shooting back. So then everybody comes in. That's why the number was 7 instead of like 3.
Tax dollars at work. Yep.
What a baller though, getting 7 cops before he goes down. I don't think Dorner got 7 of them. I gotta see how many cops did Dorner kill. Absolute rock star, Chris Dorner, shouts out. Chris Dorner, okay, timeline of killings and manhunt. He was on the road for 12 days. They found his body in the burned out thing. I don't know how many he got, though. Law enforcement experts differ on whether it was justified use of pyrotechnic devices. Are you familiar with the Chris Dorner story?
I'm not.
Okay. In that case, we'll pause for 2 seconds, and then I'll tighten up the reading, and that way we can kind of blast over this thing real quick. Oh, why isn't it letting me? Okay, and pause. So, long story short, Dorner was still technically like in training to be I mean, he was a cop, but he was like in a period of not being like a full, I
Still
think
had a supervisor.
yeah, he still had a supervisor with him, and it's this woman, and they responded to a call at a hotel. The hotel had like a schizophrenic dude with like bad dementia, and the woman basically beat the living shit out of the guy, like kicked him in the head a whole bunch. He testified to that like 3 times when his speech was okay, but then under oath, he was kind of rambly, so it was not considered part of testimony. Anyway, he got fired, and then he wrote this like 11,000 page thing saying that the cops were racists, which is accurate. The system of policing is of course very racist. But he was saying about like specifics, and he named names, and then he listed about 40 of them that he wanted to kill specifically, like by name, which was pretty tight. And then that's a pretty credible threat of violence. So then he sends a challenge coin, which is like when you're in the military, you give each other challenge coins for like doing cool shit. And he had like a 1-inch bullet grouping on the coin and said that he did it from like 100 yards or something. So just like bragging about being good at shooting, Anyway, I don't know how many he actually ended up getting. And I don't really feel like reading the entire article. If anybody's interested in reading about Chris Dorner, but they burned him to death in a cabin when they finally chased him down. So, we'll call. I don't want to call him a hero because I'm not telling people to go kill cops, but like he's a hero of mine. Like I like him. I think he's a good guy. He was pushed to do bad stuff by a system, So.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, the guy that blasted off 7, I know that probably not everybody that went in there knew what they were even going into, but
Right.
they always, like, the defense is always like, well, these people should have a reverence because they sign up to put their lives in danger. This guy just wanted to sit at home in his slippers.
Right.
And he was pretty much just invaded and had his pets shot.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there are states, I forgot, I was talking to somebody about states and castle doctrine, and actually the castle doctrine does apply to cops in some states. So you have to do you can't do no-knock raids in some states, basically because that guy, if they hadn't kept sending cops until they killed him, he would have not gotten in trouble for it. Because, they should not have been busting into his house and shooting him. So
Lenny fucked up the address or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. The fuck up on the address was literally like a digit switch in the middle.
Like 1331.
Yep. It was like, 1331 instead of, or like, 1331 instead of like 3131 or something. It was like the dumbest switch ever. Yeah. Far enough away that you probably couldn't even hear the gunshots from the intended house.
That's a real fucking problem.
Yeah. Even like the neighbors that accidentally would get shot if that happened, somebody misses and like blasts out a neighbor, even that's not the right guy. They didn't even get close to the right guy.
I mean, they probably like the sound would travel just enough so the intended house could like get their shit together real quick.
Yeah, and then just bail or like dump a bunch of blow down the toilet or whatever it is they're in trouble for.
Scot-free.
I want to say it was a illegal weed state. Like it was a state where weed's still not legal, and like it was an old couple, and they were like, "Well, I guess this checks out. It's supposed to be an old couple, you know. It's like an elderly couple. So I guess this check, you know, I mean, who better to sell weed? An old couple, you know? They
I mean, seems like a trustworthy dealer.
Yeah, and they have to go out in the middle of the day, you know, like they do their grocery shopping at like 1:30 in the afternoon.
Just roll up to your house with their blinkers still on.
Exactly.
No one's the wiser.
Yep. You get like a 58-year-old dude, you know, and like just don't shower that morning and you're instantly 74, right? You could pass as 74. You know, just like kind of be a little sleepy, get high, get a 58-year-old high, and they would pass it as 74.
Yeah, you didn't even smell like it. They just assume it was for glaucoma. Drive your pickup wherever you wanted.
Yeah, exactly. Even in states where it's illegal, you know, but I guess they'll still bust in your house and shoot you.
Yeah, I mean, we all run that risk just being alive.
Yeah, that's kind of
inside
terrifying.
places.
Yeah, that's pretty scary because that could just happen, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I wish Amanda just knocked on your door right now as we hear that comes.
Yeah, I should probably start keeping my guns in the office. No, joking.
I'm gonna guns with me at all times.
Yeah.
More of slingshots these days.
Oh yeah. I've been you know, I'm like a big chin-ups guy. And
I was doing good before the quarantine, but that remarkably made me worse about working out.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been getting just absolutely shredded. Today I did my first, or not first technically, but first like set of multiples, where you do a full invert planche, and then so like you get up on the chin-up bar and then you put your legs fully like this and then pull them into your abs like a fetus position, but with your arms on the pull-up bar, and then pull up like that.
Oh yeah, like I didn't pull them all the way in, but like I used to pretty much hold them straight out like a gymnast doing the iron cross.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I haven't done shit. Like, it just made me think about it earlier. Like playing the guitar, I'm like, my forearms are tired now. I'm like, God, that's bad.
Well, you also play a guitar that weighs like 1,000,000 pounds.
Yeah, you could club a yak to death.
Yeah, the T60 is a lethal weapon.
Solid ash body.
Yeah, if a cop was coming at you with a T60, you're legally allowed to shoot them. Because you don't know what they're trying to do. Yeah, Wikipedia, that made me think of the, have you ever heard of the 10 random footballer rule for Wikipedia? It's like the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, but a little different. Like if you hit random on Wikipedia 10 times, you're pretty much guaranteed to find a footballer, like a soccer player.
Does it work?
I think so. Let's try. Okay. Actually, I could probably do share screen if we do this right. Let's see. Let's bust this to F11. Okay. Tab. Right there. Share screen. And this one. Let's see what happens. Hey, it's working. Cool. Random.
All right.
Fight night. That's pretty much the same thing as soccer. One more. Newmarket workshops. 3. Tennessee, Granger County, unincorporated community. That's pretty funny. Citibank, Ecuador. One more time. Dulijan, a village in Abezdon, In Iran. Cool. Its population was 27. It only had eight families. That's pretty wild. Okay, 6. Catholic Church in Mississippi. 7.
We might just make it.
A snowboarder. 8. Lahudon. I don't know what that is. 9. St. Croix River. We might make it on the first try. 10. Alcoholic beverage.
Oh man, I looked at the title. I would have sworn that was gonna be a fucking soccer player.
I did too. I was actually like,
it's like, God damn it!
It worked on the 10. 11. I don't know what that even is. It's a politician. 12. 13. Rower. Rowing is pretty much soccer. 14. 15. Come on. 16.
It works until you try it on here.
Right, exactly. It always works before. This is pretty cool. DJ Scene is his name.
God.
Benny Benassi up in here. That's pretty cool.
Mine was DJ Tanner.
This is crazy. It's never worked this long. USS Pigeon. Wikipedia knows I'm talking about it. Population of Viking. Georgia.
This is proof that they're listening.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The CIA doesn't want us to know. Winter of Frozen Dreams, a crime drama. Okay. Another politician in the Maori Party. A chef. Liver's Edge. Anguilla. Desara. Last Breath. Budweiser Shootout. That's a car racing. Also very similar to soccer. Hey, football midfielder. So it actually took about 20. 5 probably. I stopped counting at 15 and it probably was 10 more after that.
God, that would be a great drinking game. You get out an iPad.
Oh, yeah.
Wikipedia, like every person has to pass it along like Russian roulette, whoever gets the soccer player.
Exactly. Yes, that's how to do it. Oh, it's not letting me do that, huh? F11. Okay, boom. Got it. Yeah, this soccer player, I don't need to read about a soccer player. But, yeah, that would be good. Yeah, just every time there's a soccer player, drink. And then you figure out what kind of politician. So you go like, if it's a politician in an English-speaking country, you have to drink like a triple shot or something like that.
Yeah. And then there were like a couple of geographic locations. You have to work that out too.
Yeah.
Maybe under and over a population number.
There we go. Yeah, that 27-person Iranian one would be like in the under 50 category, which under 50, if it's on Wikipedia, it's like, what's the point, you know?
Yeah.
50 people there.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering how that even got on there.
It's like having a zip code on Wikipedia.
It makes me feel like something terrible must have happened in that village.
Yeah. I mean, well, clearly it's, it's Iran, and so America's been trying to do horrible shit there for a long time.
Some would argue succeeding.
Yeah, they're not doing a bad job of the horrible shit. It ended up being pretty depressing because we talked about cops murdering people, talking about troops murdering people, talking about little old ladies murdering people using kids.
Yeah, I thought we were going to punt it up, but this has actually been pretty dark.
Yeah, pretty dark. I think I fucked the rhythm up by trying to do the random thing, thinking like it would happen in 7, and then we could read about a soccer player. That would be funny. Also, it's just late at night for me. Like, it's not that late. I mean, this is normally like when people start drinking, but hence, beers. But I'm like exhausted by this time of night. We get up really early now, which is pretty tight. Um, it's gonna be really funny when like bands start gigging again. You know, like all the cover band people start gigging again. And it's like,
I saw an ad for one on Facebook today. They're like, we'll be playing outside and everyone must maintain social distancing. So I just get like this weird. Remember in PE when they used to make you line up like so you could do jumping jacks without fucking anybody up?
yeah, you have to spin around with your arms out or whatever.
Is that how they're going to monitor this outside concert?
Yeah, that's gonna be bad, dude. I will say, there was like in Israel, there was like an anti-Zionist demonstration, like a pro-Palestine demonstration, or not. It wasn't technically pro-Palestine. It was just, it was, they were pro-Israel, but they were also like anti-Zionist. Like they didn't want to keep expanding or hurting people, and this was like back in March, and they did the 6 foot distancing thing, and it looked fucking incredible. Like they were marching through the streets at 6 feet, 6 feet, 6 feet. Like, so they were just perfectly spaced 6 feet and then 6 feet in front. So it took like blocks, like just in the street, in the sidewalks, blocks and blocks and blocks of people to like do this march. It was incredible looking.
Yeah, it was terrifying looking.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, what are you gonna do? Break this thing up? We've all got the COVID, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah, we're afraid of ourselves. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
Have you any of your musician friends gotten pissed about not being able to play?
Yeah, the cool people are all doing what they're trying to do. They're trying to play like cover gigs from the house. They like tell people when they're going to be doing stuff, and then they put their Cash App up and they play covers, requests, and stuff. But there's people being like, we got to play in the bars or they're going to beat Trump. Like you said, they think that it's like a slap against Trump that we can't.
Waylon Jennings would never put up with this shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he would have though. That's the thing. Like, yeah, they say they like have this idea of all the like outlaw guys, like they were just complete Trump cuck idiots, and they're
Yeah,
like,
they weren't all just like assholes. Like,
right, yeah. Like they think outlaw means just be a dick, and it's like, no, they just did blow and like they did party drugs, smoked a lot of weed, had long hair. Cops hated them. Like,
yeah, pretty much they did everything rock and roll musicians were doing.
yeah, exactly.
But because they were in country, it was fucking revolutionary.
Right, exactly. Or well, it is to them. They look back on it and go like, "That's revolutionary." Even at the time, nobody was like, "That's revolutionary." It's like that's just youth culture. Like, always has been. Like at a time, especially during the baby boomer childhood. I say childhood, but like their young adulthood, it was not countercultural to do a lot of drugs. It just was normal to do a shitload of just to get fucked up all the time because there were no stakes. They could like buy a billion acres of land for like $9 and then just like jerk off and do drugs for 20 years and then they're millionaires. Like every boomer I ever see that's not a millionaire, it's like, man, what happened to you? Like that sucks. Like either they were a victim of like a huge amount of systemic oppression, you know what I mean, or they were like really nice. They just like kept doing too many favors for people, or they are just millionaires for no reason for having done nothing. Like, and then it's like, well, you did it right, that's how to do it. You came along at the exact moment that civilization gave the specific amount of people the easiest possible time, and you did exactly what everyone else should have done, but was either too nice or too much of a victim of systemic oppression that allowed you to do that evil shit to become a millionaire. Oh, the people you stole it from. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, almost there are a lot of people like if you get into that age group where if it's not a successful person, they always have that story that sticks in their craw about this is where blah 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 fucked me out of blah blah blah, It's like, that's where it happened.
Right. Like right there. Yeah. Yep. Those are.
Oh, you trusted that he was a friend, so you didn't have him sign anything. Got you.
Yep. Exactly. That sounds a whole lot like a and that's also like, I kind of on the one hand don't want to be like I want to make fun of that, because it is like, well, you're bummed out that you didn't get to like fuck society over with this dude, like, and then he fucked you over and society the same way that you both were going to fuck society over and then split it evenly. Like, you didn't get fucked over, society got fucked over, and then you didn't get to take advantage of it.
I mean, yeah, that's probably a lot of cases.
It's almost always like that. And it's like, what were you gonna do? You were gonna, like, I don't know, throw in $750 on the down payment on like a Subway, like, or like back when Starbucks wasn't fully corporate, they did like, you could invest like that even without working at a Starbucks, and that made a bunch of people rich. Or like, I don't know, whatever dumb thing where you're fucking a bunch of people over and making them work for nothing, basically. And then you make yourself rich really quick for no reason. Subway was really good for that for a long time. Now apparently it's not that good for that, and it makes a lot of people really broke.
Yeah, I don't understand how there's so many Subway. This was actually I play trivia with my family. Subway is the most common fast food branch on the earth. Like, fucking how?
Credit. They'll let you do what is it called? Franchising on credit.
Got you.
Yeah, basically like you, I don't know, like mortgage your house basically, or like you put something down, and instead of having actually like liquid capital, so you're franchising on credit. So it's like you're being a capitalist without having any capital.
So just all that you hold dear is collateral?
Basically, yeah, your entire like financial future is collateral, and then they have like an incredible amount of power over your advertising at that point. Like, so like, have you ever seen like some Subways have like $5 footlongs up until like way recently, and then some didn't?
Yeah.
Well, to get out of it, you basically had to own your franchise, and if you didn't, they could penalize you like an incredible amount of money.
Jeez.
So
it's even worse than I thought.
Yeah. Which on the one hand, it's pretty tight to be like, oh, cool, Subway's fucking rich people. But it's like, no, they're actually kind of not fucking the actual rich people. They're fucking the poor people trying to pretend to be rich. Like the fake, the fake capitalists. Like, I didn't know for sure, so I did research on it one time to see if there were any slave owners that bought slaves on credit. To figure out if Subway was like being original with their idea, or if it was like that's a normal thing. And the answer is kind of. People did leverage currency markets against itself to buy human beings, which is pretty depressing to think about, because that means that like you're like, think about being one of those slaves that's like a slave because that dude got like credit or whatever. He like bought you on credit, and you're like, you didn't even own, like, there's not, like, it doesn't even hold up to the lies that is like, even the thin veneer that is like the justification morally for capitalism. At least do that, at the least do that. Don't be like that level.
At least have the money that isn't real.
Right. At least have the fake money to be able to buy real people. Like, because that was the thing. The moral justification for slavery was always that it was in the Bible. And it was like, well, it says the lender is the slave to the the borrower is the slave to the lender, right? And it's like, well, then they also like use currencies that aren't backed by hard things anymore. They don't use Sharia compliant bonds and all this other shit. So it's like, you can't have both. You can't have slavery and credit cards. Like, you don't, or not credit cards, but you get the idea. Upside down mortgaged plantations with, you know, bought, you know, yeah, that shit's crazy. All those people deserve to have Nat Turner happen to them.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, this is getting increasingly depressing.
Yeah, we just keep getting depressing. That's why I got to do the drip. I do the pour over. Anytime I do a pod after 4 p.m., I have to do a pour over. And I didn't. I was like, you know what? I'll do some jumping jacks, and that'll be enough to just get fucking into it. And I don't know. It didn't. Let's see if that worked. Oh, didn't. Oh, shit. I thought I had it queued up. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. We found the fail noise.
Now introducing sound effects.
Yeah, that is always very funny. To just let this happen at 1.5 speed.
You suck. Everybody put your hands in the air. Get over here.
See, a lot of these don't make any sense in terms of like what I would use them for. Evil laugh.
Monster kill.
Falling. Heavenly Choir. That's usable. Let's put this one at 0.5. That would probably sound cool. Oh, hell yes. Yes. All right. 0.25 speed, actually. Yes. There it is. And it's artifacting like a motherfucker. It's just broken as shit.
Like you discovered a curse.
Yeah. That sounds awesome, actually. I'm pretty into that. Dolphin. A drum roll at 0.25. Oh, rubber duck. There we go. That's what we want. 0.25 speed rubber duck. That's it. That's pretty uneventful. Yeah, I don't like that anymore. Oh, victory. Okay. Yeah, sound effects.
I got a bad feeling about this.
Didn't make me think of anything that funny.
Yeah, this has been a bust on joy, at least.
Yeah. Every now and then you got to talk about cops killing people in their homes or people killing cops while they're at work, which is much more rare, right? That's the other thing. I know the names of people that have killed cops while the cops are at work, right? I don't, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't list the 15 people shot by cops this week, today. Like, I don't know their names, I don't know, but I know Chris Dorner's name because it's rare to actually kill cops,
Yeah. That's actually a good point. If he was a steel worker, would this even be a story?
Right. Yeah, exactly. He just happened to be a cop that killed cops. Hell yeah. Fuck. I say we toss up an ending. I don't think we're getting any funny out of it tonight.
No, I don't think we.
Dicks or cum or something. We'll do a 3. I'll have you and Sarah on sometime, and we'll do she wanted to talk about drugs and cum the whole time, which was pretty funny.
I would have been thrilled with that.
Yeah, we'll do that at 2 p.m. on a Sunday. We'll just day drink and have coffee in the middle of the day. So I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you really soon. We'll have you on again sometime. This is episode 20, The Great Satan. Don't actually go kill cops, guys.